have Kelvin Wilson in an instant over
Uh, yeah,
FA.
listen, and don't forget, I could have put Kevin Wilson in there if we had talked about the first 6 months of their Celtic career. Kelvin Wilson would have been on that
We've been
fucking list.
over this though. Like a centre half's only as good as the guy playing next to him, and Kelvin Wilson was covering for some absolute shite for quite a long time. In fact, he was covering for half of that list. You had Chadu Ray on one side of him and Mastorovic on the other side of him. So no,
Oh, you know what? You know what I just remembered? Who I left off our list of worst defenders.
who?
Who was the guy who came in last year who blew out his Achilles? What was the guy's name? Remember that?
Oh, I can't remember his name. Moyokolo, whatever.
Yeah, Stephen Moicolo.
See, no,
Yeah,
see. To be honest with you, he looked all right in pre-season and then
yeah,
just got injured. So I don't think he was
yeah.
really.
But he did. But tell you what, him and Van Dyke did not look the part against Karagandi.
They both just looked
Remember that away
shite, but
match?
he did have a couple of good games in pre-season and one of the European games where
Yeah.
he probably would have been a starter. I think one shite game doesn't really make you a pish player, but we
Mm.
just didn't really see enough of him. Didn't work out for him. Ah, well, all right, moving on. What else have you got?
I got. Let's go to Jagon Yaldi. You ready?
Talk about something before we do the jogging on
Sure.
your Aldi's then. I've
Go
got
ahead.
2 points, right?
Yeah.
Firstly, New Year transfer window and Guidetti, etc. Can we talk about that for a bit?
Sure.
Where at the moment, see, including Guidetti and Denier, right, if we have both of those players, I reckon we are two good players, two quality good players away from having a very good team. Where we need a ball winning, fast, defensive midfield player that covers a lot of ground to
Yeah. What
play
happened to
alongside
our boy?
Brown.
What happened to our boy?
Didn't work out, didn't happen, you know.
Yeah.
Diarra. And I
Hmm.
think we need a left-sided creative player going forward that can cross the ball. So we need
Have
those.
you given? Let me ask you before you say any further. Have you given up on Mubarak Wakaso?
I think that I've kind of given up on him, but also because I've heard of his buyout being 5 million, I know we're not going to keep him. So we
Uh,
need to
you,
we need
you
to
see his goal this weekend?
no.
35-yard left foot screamer.
I think I'm no denying the guy. I think he's
Yeah.
got a killer shot on him. So's Tonev, but I just neither of them really seem to be fitting the bill. So I
Mm.
don't think we'll get either of them. I think it's more likely we would have signed Tonev, but Tonev's not playing that well. Whereas with Castle, his buyout's too much, and he's probably on too much money with Russian wages, etc. But here's the thing: we're in a kind of make or break moment where, see, if we keep Guidetti and Denier, we're two players away from a good team, right?
Yeah.
See, if we lose both of them and don't sign them, we're four first team players away from a good team. That is
Yes.
a hell of a lot to bring in. With
Yes.
our history of bringing in poor football players and consistently signing duds, right? So we've been over this. I want to sign Guidetti. I don't think we'll be able to sign Denier, but maybe we get him on another year loan or something, or bring in some quality. Let's get this. Let's get the centre midfielder, and let's get the left sided midfield player, and in Christmas. So we need those improvements in the squad. And the other improvement in the squad is, I think we need to improve our squad players. Where we've got Kyals, we've got Ambroses, and whatever, guys that we don't really actually trust. Bo Richter. We need to somehow figure out getting these guys out and then getting in guys like squad players, probably good, maybe good SPL players from like the likes of Dundee United and maybe Hibs and stuff like that. Finding guys that will come in and sit on our bench and try and work their way into the team and be good deputies and good squad players. We need to improve our overall squad players. Where I always felt that Wim Janssen's team that stopped the 10, the kind of one of the consistent parts of our team was we had Burley and Lambert in the centre of midfield, which was great. I think they had a great partnership, and Jackie McNamara was killing it as well. But we also had Phil O'Donnell and Morton Vikhorst. And looking back at it, people will be like, "Oh, Phil O'Donnell and Morton Vikhorst weren't that great for us," blah blah blah. But see, to be honest with you, they were kind of guys that probably should have got a game, but it's just the quality of the midfield ahead of them stopped them getting in the team. So if like a Burley dropped out or a Lambert dropped out, both of those guys could pop in and put in a really good shift for the team. So we need like kind of a greater a greater consistency from our bench players, and we also need a left-sided creative player and our defensive midfield player. So we need to sign Guidetti. We need to try and get someone in permanently in centre half and get those two players in, because otherwise, we could. I mean, this loan deal thing's working out for us so far,
Yeah.
but if we don't sign the players, then we're back to square one come summer. So here's a question. Would you buy the left-sided winger now? And would you buy the defensive midfield player now? Or would you let it run to the end of the season and try and get someone in summer? Because shopping in New Year is not that great to do.
I think what's going to happen is I think they put it that way. I think Ronnie's going to get into the transfer market and try and do what you had mentioned and basically come up with a hybrid of what you and I have talked about since the first time we've done the show.
Mm-hmm.
Either high-end loans to end the season, especially if we get through next week's game against Salzburg at home and we know we're going to play. I think the club is probably going to find a way to go ahead and maybe bring a name here or two.
So you're saying we're going to own players?
I think you're going to look at a hybrid of either loan or pre-contract.
Nah,
yes.
I don't see the point in loaning players for the rest of the season because we're top of the league and we're probably going to qualify for the second part of Europe.
But here's the reason why I think we would. You go through and you get a draw and you see that it's a winnable draw. And you can get from 32 to 16 to 8. And you could loan 2 players to get through that draw and go on a run. You do it?
I think I'd rather go out and either find a quality defensive midfield player in the last year of his contract, sign him on a pre-contract, and then offer the club money to bring him in now. Because one, you're building for next summer in Champions League qualifiers now. You get that player in, get him settled into the team and playing well for the rest of the year. And then come Champions League qualifiers, we've got a team where we would have Guidetti, would have pretty much an entire starting 11 set going into that. How many times has that ever happened for Celtic? Having a settled team going into summer.
I'm with you. No, I get it. I'd love to see it.
If you loan a player now, then it unsettles the team because it's a player that we're not going to have.
Well, don't forget. I mean, throughout the whole conversation that Peter Lawwell's had over the last couple of weeks, especially after the AGM, going into loan signings, the whole idea of the loan signing was loan signing with an option to buy.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, if they have a loan signing here and they can get him the second half of the year.
Oh, yeah, well, I take that.
Yeah, option to buy. That's what I'm saying. I think that the hybrid of what you and I have talked about,
mm-hmm.
I think I would do it. I mean, if you have the chance to take a team and add a player or two that can get you that, even if it's not DR or that type of situation, I think you gotta do it.
Well, it sounds like at the moment we are going to offer Man City money, which is kind of like contrary to what we were saying there. On the 1st of January, we can offer him a contract without giving City money. However, so can anyone else. So if we've apparently agreed a fee with City, which is what people are saying,
correct.
I take it that means that that'll allow us to speak to him prior to the 1st of January. That's correct. Really aggressive. I like that.
Yes.
As long as it was a nominal fee. I mean, as long as it's not ridiculous.
I heard something like 2 to 3 million. Yeah.
2 to 3 million is not too much money just for
not
that.
For him. Considering, now remember, could the club spend 5 or 6? The answer is yes, if they're guaranteed they're going to get 10 or 12 back. In this situation here, is spending 2 or 3 on him plus 25, 30,000 in wages or whatever it's going to be, and the kid likes it here and the fans love him. Then you can get him you can sell him for 7 or 9 in 18 months.
No, I don't see the point in paying £2 million just to have a jump of maybe 1 month.
Oh no, you have to.
No,
you have to.
No. See if you're saying £2 million, right?
I pay it right now.
So right, you agree to pay £2 million to keep the guy now?
Yes.
If I'd say pay £500,000 to keep the guy right now because he's out of contract.
You
could take that £2 million.
No.
And then be like, if just say,
no. It's not gonna
just say West Ham come in and say we'll give you 40 grand a week. You could be like, all right, we'll give you 40 grand a week because we've got an extra £2 million.
They're not going to give them 40 grand a week because they're not going to go ahead and blow out the wage structure. So in this situation, you have to give them the $2 million. You have to give them the 2 to 3 million. You have to do it because
that's too much money.
Do it. I'm telling you that he does it, and it's already agreed. They're going to do it. They have, and at the AGM, Law was talking about that next week. They're going to have Guidetti's man in to go ahead and talk about it. But you know what? To me, that's not the issue. I think Guidetti gets this, and I think he, as who he is, and as much as he talks about the Larson history and everything else, I think he's a little bit more mindful of the history of what happens. Or what's happened in the past. I mean, and I want to put this together as the Guidetti warning. I mean, of all the players in the last couple of years that we've had, leave, okay, we've had basically one or two players leave, and really the only one that's made an instant impact has been Forster, and he's been basically the backbone. And then Wanyama's basically grown into, because he could have stayed one more year. And if you look at how he played last year, he didn't play all that much. You know what I mean? He could have stayed one more year and then been an absolute rock. It would have been great. He's starring now. He had a great goalie tonight for Southampton. But Forster has been a rock. He was ready to go, no problem. But those are the only two. If you look at the rest of, I just pulled out some names. I mean, Key and McGeady. I mean, they're both mid-table. You know what I mean? Samaras is in the lower half of mid-table.
I think there's two different scenarios there, because Samaras didn't want to leave.
No, I understand that. I'm saying people who have gone away and what's next for them. And Ledley today, great goal for him. But he's still at Crystal Palace, which started the day tied for, at the bottom of the table, tied for relegation. Hooper, Maloney have gone down the championship. And the question I have for you is this: out of those players who've left, who's the only one to win silverware?
Maloney.
Maloney won. Maloney won with...
he won the FA Cup.
With Wigan, right?
Yep.
Okay, then there's two. I'm sorry, I missed one. Two.
The other player? Oof.
Mm-hmm. He played out of position and won. Key.
What did he win?
He won the League Cup with Swansea.
League Cup? Oh, well, there you go.
The first year he left.
There you go. But no, I think I'm not denying this. I mean, don't get me wrong. I want to keep Guidetti. Two, I think it'd be stupid for him going to the Premiership. He could be a hero at Celtic. I think that I understand there might have been some agreement where we do pay prior to Christmas and all that sort of thing set up, but it just seems that reality is that he could turn this down and be like, nah, we're going to wait and find out in January. He could just wait and look at about what options he has in January before making a deal with us. So no, I'm not entirely sure it's an investment.
I don't want that. I don't want to risk that.
I tell you, at the moment, if you said to me right now,
yes or no, Jog or Yaldi, pay the money now and guarantee the contract, or try and penny pinch Peter Lawwell. Thank you very much. Wait, save £2 million and then lose him.
Okay, right. I'll take that. I'd probably pay the $2 million and keep the guy if you guaranteed me he was definitely going to sign and blah blah.
Well, here's the thing. We have the ability. If he doesn't sign, we didn't spend anything. We just agreed the fee to be able to sign him in advance.
Mm-hmm. I know players have done that in the past. I remember Derby County signing Christian Daly for $4.4 million when his contract was nearly up, because he just wanted to have the exclusivity of it's Blackburn Rovers, I think. Yeah, of just not talking to anyone else. But
if he doesn't sign, nothing's spent. I mean, of course, pay the freaking money. Go.
Well,
go.
I really want to keep the guy.
For Lawwell to say he's going to spend $2 million on anything, yeah. I'm all about it.
I tell you what, man, it's aggressive. So I think that we can be happy in the fact that Lawwell's went, no, we want to keep this guy. Let's put the money up and let's do it, because I don't know if it's the smartest move, but it's the safest move to keep a quality player at Celtic.
I think so.
All right, so wrapping up the kind of transfer business, we've signed Brown to a 4-year deal, which I'm happy about. I'm
glad to see that that people at Celtic are listening to the Smell the Glove podcast, because we did the math. And
we did.
Fuck them if they weren't listening, but they did listen.
Obviously, direct line.
Knows exactly how I feel about it, and exactly what's supposed to happen, and thank God they fucking listen.
Right, so you've got your captain signed up for 4 years. If we pay $2 million for Guidetti, as you're saying, we've got our striker signed up for hopefully 3 years or whatever that is. So the only thing we'd not have tied up at the moment would be Denier or a centre half to play alongside Van Dijk.
And Van Dijk is gone.
He's under contract, which means that someone has to buy him. If someone has to buy him, it means that we get money to buy a replacement. So we can worry about that when it happens. We need a winger. We need a centre midfield player. I say buy now, and if we buy them now, maybe not the left midfield player. I think buy the defensive midfield player now and get him settled in for the rest of the year. That'll hopefully you'll get a good run in the team and set us up for going into next summer, where we don't have as many parts of the pieces of the puzzle to replace, especially if we do lose a player to the Premiership or whatever. So are you down with that?
Oh yeah, I'm all about it. And listen, as long as that coming, I mean, If they're willing to spend the money, I'm willing to watch them play. I
There you
mean,
go.
I'm all about it. But yeah, but it's